Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another video. Back to the old format without seeing my ugly mug. I've got a massive update for you this time. It's probably, this video is probably a little bit late, but I've had all sorts of little niggles that have been basically delaying me from doing this video, because I kind of like to finish things before I actually put them onto camera. I mean, I don't mind showing the odd thing that I'm in the middle of painting, but as a sort of a battalion goes, I like to actually completely finish it and have it all ready to go before I sort of showcase it. So like I was saying, I've got a massive bunch of stuff to do. When I finished my 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 Verdun battalion, I sort of said that I was kind of edging towards getting some French because of the massive amount of overtaking my British battalions of infantry I've done lately. I mean, I've basically got 5 French battalions, and I think the British have got, well, if you include this update, a lot more. But they're probably about, I think they're 8 before this update. So I basically put an order in to Whaling Games, and surprisingly, just a little under a week, I had an email from them: your delivery's on the way. So this is basically what I got. I got a box, or another box of Perry's. Always a good thing to have. And like I mentioned in my last video, I decided to get some Victrix French. Now I'm just going to have to kind of, you can see that they've been sent to me in the bag form again, but luckily this time, I don't know if you can just about see them in the background there, they have actually got the instructions with the flags in this time, which is I'm very pleased about. Yeah, I was having a quick look at these guys. I mean, they're a little bit, I mean, I suppose they're kind of up to date, because sort of like the uniform chain didn't really change too much between 1812 and 1815. But I have noticed that there are some oddities in here, things like bear skins, and some of the Voltiers have got the sort of the longer puffs, but that's not really game ending in any sort of circumstance. And I was just looking through them, and I think they look absolutely brilliant, actually. I mean, here's some pictures of some finished ones on the back. You do get some with covered shakos, and I suppose these bearskin guys could come in to sort of make shift sort of sappers, as well as I suppose there might be the odd grenadier hanging around with a bearskin. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to these guys, and the big thing is that you actually get 60. So you get 60 French, and I think they were £19, just £19.75 or something like that, which is quite a big difference from £25, which is their normal RRP. And of course the Perry's were, I think they were £14 or £15, so you get quite a good saving on those as well. And like I say, this is the second order that I've had within 2 weeks from Whaling Games, so they're starting to sort of get my confidence back a little bit. I mean, when I ordered them, I was kind of, you know, I sort of like said to myself, yeah, well, you know, probably at least 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm kind of happy with that for the money that I save. But boom, within a week, I was very, very happy. I've also been ordering a whole bunch of stuff from Front Rank as well. This is a little bit of what I've got left, because obviously I've used a whole bunch. So basically I've picked up some more banners. I've got a whole bunch of those now, because I've still got a big bunch left over from my last pack. I got some French Eagles for the tops of the poles. I also have a French command pack here. You basically get, so look, you actually get, whoops, just dropped one. Looks like you get 2 officers, 2 drummers, a sergeant and a standard bearer. So that's pretty cool. That could be quite handy. And also I picked up a British command pack from Front Rank as well. These guys look pretty awesome. These guys are going to be used for my next British project after I've done some French. And they're probably going to be King's German Legion, probably maybe the 5th. But that's kind of like my next sort of plan for the British. But like I say, I've got at least 4 battalions of French on the books coming up next, of which I've decided that, well, I mean it's actually specific to my to 3rd Corps, is that one of the units is going to be Swiss. I believe the 2nd Swiss regiment, the ones with the dark blue facings. So okay, so what have I been doing? Oh, also, actually thinking about it, also I've got a Perry's French command pack as well, which you have seen before, but I picked up another one of those. They're quite handy. They come with the Eagle Bearers as well, so I'll split those up between a couple of command groups. Yeah, so that's my big spend out the way, and big spend was definitely the word. So let's go into what I've been doing. In between doing my 2 new battalions, I was looking at my my first 2 Hanoverian battalions that I did, the Griffhorn and the Piene, and the Griffhorn were basically the first unit that I ever did. And I was looking on my favourite website for uniforms, which is let me just, I'll actually show you it, because I said that in a previous video that I'd actually show you this site, because it's absolutely amazing. This is let me just so this is the site here. It's a French site, and the best way to get into it is to actually I mean, it's kind of a weird address there, but I'm sure if you did a search for that it would come up. And now the cool thing I like about this is that you can basically find out the uniforms for like any infantry unit you want. So look, here I have the Hanoverian Griffhorn battalion up. Now before, my Griffhorn had green and white facings, I believe, or yellow and white, which is completely wrong. And if I click on uniforms here, you'll see that it comes up with the uniforms, and they've actually got blue facings. And you also get options up here. So sometimes you get options for command, and for the French and stuff like that, you get options for volunteers and grenadiers and command. So you can see that I basically had my Griffhorn painted wrong. So what I did, and plus the fact that they're really quite scrappy in comparison to the way I paint now, so I basically went back and I touched them all up. And I'm pretty happy with the result. And I did the same for the Piene as well, because they were also incorrectly painted up. They were in a green and yellow facing, which is green and white, sorry, which again is wrong. So these guys, I mean, I'll give you a quick show of them, because you have seen them before. But basically, I went in, I changed all their facings, and I tidied them up, because they're pretty shoddy, to tell the truth. I went in and completely tidied them up. I tidied up their, I mean, here's the first battalion here. So I basically went in, changed all their facings, so they've got the correct blue and white facings now. I tidied up a lot of their strapping, which some of it was like, some of it was messed, some of it was messy. I tidied up their trousers, and I re-inked them and shaded them. and a lot of them didn't have face detail properly, so I went in and tidied all their faces up, and I think they came out pretty cool in the end. I think they're a much more, and also I've added some yellow backpack facings as well to these guys, so I'm pretty chuffed with how the way that they have come out now. I can really kind of be proud of them again, because they really were quite shoddy. I went in and gave them, like I say, went and gave them all a lot of them hadn't been properly highlighted either, so I went in and properly shaded and highlighted them again. So, and I kind of did these guys in between doing my two new battalions, because as I was saying, I had all sorts of setbacks while I was basically doing them, and I suppose I might as well go through those sort of setbacks now just to sort of save a bit of time. But basically what happened was that the two battalions that I'm doing have green jackets, and also no flags as well. So I was sort of hunting around trying to find suitable flags. I put in an order with GMB, and when that order came, I'd somehow managed to order them in the wrong scale, so they came in 15mm. So then I got hold of the guy, said, well, could I exchange these for other flags? He goes, yeah, but I couldn't wait, so I basically went in and ordered flags, because there's kind of no structure to the sort of Hanoverian flags in the GMB site, so I had to kind of go in and sort of go in and do a bit of research and try and get flags as close as possible to what I think they would be, because obviously, as we all know, there's no Hanoverian details for flags, or at least for not many units anyway. Yeah, in the end I decided on some flags, and the other thing was that I actually ordered for my first battalion, I ordered the wrong, well, not the wrong, but the wrong type of command group. I ordered a mixed headwear command group, and I wanted all caps. So that was a setback in the fact that I couldn't finish that battalion. But luckily my second battalion has mixed headwear, so I was lucky enough to have actually put those guys into my second battalion, and I kind of had to stop doing one battalion and start doing the other. I literally finished them off properly today. I literally had my GMB flags come today. I looked at them. I worked out a way to use them, and that's how I managed to finish them all. So let's continue back with these Griffhorn guys. So here we have the drummer. And like I say, I mean, there's not too much done to them, but they're just basically tidied up, shaded, highlighted, which a lot of them basically weren't. And there's things that were missed. So things like there's backpacks that were unpainted, sides of backpacks that were unpainted. There was the hats were shoddy. There was patches missing on trousers. There was some bayonets missed. And there was even a couple of hands that didn't have flesh on, so they were really quite shoddy. And I just, like I say, just went in and tidied them all up, and I think they look really cool now. So there's the command. Not a big fan of this particular command, to tell the truth. I mean, I suppose the other the other two guys aren't too bad, but the main officer's not particularly amazing in my opinion. But again, I tidied him up and he looks kind of cool now. So that is the Griffhorn battalion redone. Now, I did the same for the PNA. The PNA, I didn't have to do, well, apart from tidying them up, they weren't quite as shoddy as the Griffhorn, because I think these guys were the third or the fourth unit that I did before. Yeah, basically the third or fourth unit I did, and I did all my British first, so I had a little bit of experience of painting British when I did these guys, but still, they were a little bit shoddy, and of course they had the wrong facings. But I mean, luckily with these guys, they did have yellow facings. They just didn't have the white. So basically, all I had to do with these guys was basically go in and paint the white stripes on their facings, and of course do a little bit of tidying up. And the other thing I did was I removed a lot of shoulder pauldrons, or the shoulder wings that I had on incorrectly on a lot of my both the griff horn and the piano. Now you'll see that there are still a few that are incorrect, but basically I just said that basically because every company had a little unit of sharpshooters, so it's not wrong to have one guy with a wing in each company. So instead of having like a stand of them like I've done in my more modern battalions, this particular group has just got the sharpshooters actually in the company rather than the stand of their own. But yeah, so again, very simple to get these guys into the right colours, but again I went in and just tidied them up, and these guys did have some highlighting and shading on their faces, but I just went in and worked, put a bit more shade on their trousers, highlighted them, and just a general tidy up. So they weren't quite as bad as the griff horn, but they still needed a little bit of tidying up, and I think they look better for it in the end. I'll just give you a quick flick through these guys, because obviously you have seen these guys before, and obviously I added some yellow backpack colours, as I kind of quite like doing now. But you can see that they're a lot tidier. If you go back to my old videos with these guys in, especially the griff horn, you'll see that the griff horn were really quite shoddy, and I'm really happy with them now. I think they're a lot tidier, they're a lot crisper. I also went in and tidied up a few of the odd eyes, the bug eyes, and the sort of eyes that are off, and it worked really well. So yeah, here's the drummer. And you can see that this unit has actually got the sergeant on the drummer's base, rather than what I tend to do now is put the drummer onto the opposite base on the other side of the command. I can't really remember why I put the sergeant on there, but for some reason I did. And obviously I also went in and tidied up their flags a little bit. Some of them had some like cracks and stuff in them, and yeah, I went in and tidied those up. And some of the officers were a bit shoddy, so again I just went in and tidied up their strapping and stuff. And then I gave them an extra good varnishing, especially the metal miniatures. So that is the first two battalions that I've done. I'm now going to start going into my new stuff. So first of all, we have the Duke of York 1st Field Battalion, which are actually these guys. So let's bring those guys in. These are, let's just bring them in first. Let's actually just zoom out a little bit. There we go. So let's bring these guys in. Excuse the car with the loud music going by. Got the window open. So here we go. So here is the Duke of York's 1st Field Battalion, or also known as the Onsbrook Field Battalion, and these guys I'm really happy with, especially the flags. So we'll start straight off. These guys are, I was looking into the background of these guys when I was trying to find their colours, and apparently these guys started off as a red jacketed unit with blue facings, and they changed to green jackets and became a light infantry battalion for a little bit, but by the time of Waterloo they were basically more or less a line battalion, even though they still continue to wear their green jackets. Although there's a lot of controversy about that, but from doing my research, I have actually come across the fact that there are a lot more places sort of confirm that they were wearing green jackets at Waterloo, but they weren't acting as light infantry. They were basically acting as line infantry. But again, these guys should have a bugler, and they've got the old drummer. But as they were basically used as a line infantry, I'm happy about that. So let's show you these guys. I basically dug out. I needed all flat caps. I noticed that in their uniform guide, and also from some of the stuff I was reading, they all wore flat caps. So I dug into my mountain, and I basically got out as many Hanoverian bodies, and also British bodies, and as many Hanoverian heads as I could find, and I basically built up as many of these types of Hanoverians as I could, and I even converted some heads to fit the Victrix bodies as well. And I also even converted a few Victrix heads to wear flat caps, just to add a bit of different faces. So here we have the first unit here. You can see that these guys are basically wearing green jackets, and they've got white strapping and white details on the uniform, but they strangely have a completely black facing, without any highlighting on the stripes. And they also have black puffs on their shoulders. So here's the first unit. You can see that they're all Warlord guys, these ones. So again, we've got the old yellow identification covers on their backpacks. I really do like doing that now on Hanoverians. Second unit, you can really see how many of my old Warlord guys I've managed to dig up and use. And you see there's actually a Victrix guy with a Warlord head, which actually basically you just kind of cut the collar off and shape the head into a little bit of a ball, and they fit perfectly on Victrix bodies. So yeah, there's a Victrix guy snuck in with 3 Warlord guys, and you can see that they apart from the Warlord guys having slightly thicker arms, they size up with them really well. So there is the second unit. Here is the sharpshooter unit, and this was another mistake. When I originally ordered when I ordered the French command pack, I originally ordered I was going to order a Hanoverian command pack from Perry's as well, and I couldn't find one with flat caps, and then for some reason I thought I found one. It didn't have a picture, and it said suitable for Bremen and Verdun battalions, and I thought, excellent, they must have flat caps. So I basically picked them, and when they came, they were basically infantry. They were basically a box of six guys with wings. Again, I managed to utilise them because I just basically made them into the sharpshooter company. So here we have 4 Perry's Hanoverians, which I think are the first Perry's metal infantry that I've ever brought. And of course they were bought by mistake, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. And they make a sort of a unique addition. So that's those guys. Next up, the drummer. Now these guys, again, like I mentioned, are supposed to have a bugler, but I put in a drummer, and I had to kind of make up my own colour scheme for this guy. So I've given him a black drum with green stringing and a white face, and I've given him the black piping on the arms and the black facings on the shoulders, just the same as the rest of the battalion. I think he looks actually pretty cool himself. And you can see we've got another couple of Warlord guys there, and one Victrix with I believe this head is actually from one of the artillery sets. So again, a nice use of a different face. So that is the drummer. Go for the sergeant next. This is the sergeant stand, and it's a front rank. That was a front rank drummer. This is a front rank sergeant, and this sergeant is actually a double of the sergeant that I've got on my 2nd battalion, and you can see that I've actually modified his arm to give him a different position. And when I get round to showing you my 2nd battalion, you'll see what I've done. But you can see that this battalion has 2 Warlord guys and 1 Victrix guy there, but the Victrix guy has got a Warlord head again, the Warlord head with the bandage. And of course some mixed in yellow backpacks and sergeant stripes there. Very happy with these guys. These guys, like I say, my command squad came on Friday, I think. Not Friday, Thursday. And I basically painted those guys up yesterday, for Thursday and Friday. Now the command group, very, very happy with these guys. These are the command group in flat caps, front rank. I'll give you a closer look at these beautiful flags from GMB. So you've got the Hanoverian King's colours, which I think look great, and we have a Hanoverian blue facings flag, which I did in sort of honour of their having their previous blue facings, and I think it works pretty good. I think they look great, actually. In fact, I might actually in the future swap out all my colours to these, which I think will look really cool. And give you a closer look at these commands. So you've got the lieutenant in the background there, and you can see that these guys have got their great coats tied around their torsos, and the ensign there carrying the colours, and the 2nd ensign in the background, and there's the colonel there. Giving them all steel sheathed or steel scabbarded swords. So these guys, because obviously I'd imagine officers of the Hanoverian army would again be sort of aristocracy, so they've got money, so they've basically got the best swords you can buy. So they've got steel scabbards. So that is the command group of the Duke of York's, or the 1st Duke of York's Field Battalion. Very happy with those guys. So let's just put him back. Move those back a little bit. And next up, my 2nd battalion. Now this battalion was kind of... I wasn't planning on doing these guys. I basically, like I say, I kind of got to the point where I had to stop doing my my Duke of Yorks because I'd A, didn't have any flags, and B, didn't have any command. And I said, well, let's have a look at my division list. And I saw just underneath the 1st Duke of York's another field battalion named the Grubenhagen Field Battalion. So I said, hey, I might as well do those guys. So boom, I did. So here we go. So here we have the Grubenhagen. I'm going to forget this name, by the way. I keep forgetting it all the time. So yes, this is the Grubenhagen. These guys were the ones that I ended up using my first front rank mixed headgear command squad in. These guys again are green jacketed, There isn't a lot of information about these guys. Again, I know that they were, even though they're wearing green jackets, they're not. They're basically a field battalion, or they're used as a field battalion. They weren't used as light infantry. And of course, just the same, they've got their unit of sharpshooters, or their company of sharpshooters. I think in reality there's actually a small bunch of them per company. So let's go in and show you these guys. Now these guys are more or less the same as the Duke of York's, but slightly different in the fact that they have, oh, he's got a bit of a bent bayonet. These guys have got black facings, again, black webbing, and also, or black strapping, and they've also got the white on their pom-pom there. And of course these guys have actually got mixed headgear, so I went in with that sort of plan. And again, a mixture of some leftover warlord guys. Basically, the warlord guys in this battalion were basically swapped out from the Duke of York's and replaced with the Perrys. So there's 4 warlord guys mixed in with these guys, and the rest of them are all Victrix. So here we have 3 Victrix guys in this one, and again we've got some yellow backpacking going on. This one's actually got all 4 of them. Or is it? Yeah, all 4 of them. So that is the first company. Well, not the first company, but the rear rank. I'll go for the sergeant next. Now you can see the sergeant. What I was telling you about, the sergeant, same figure, but different arm position. Now if I bring the other unit in, you can see it's the same figure, but I basically bent his arm a little bit. I put it sort of across and down, so it looks like he's pointing, and I think it looks really cool. Same figure, but just that different position makes him look almost like a different figure, so I was very happy with that. So the sergeant stand here, we've got a Victrix guy with a warlord head with a flat cap on, and we've got the second 2 warlord guys and the sergeant, and you can see that these guys obviously got the white. Actually, I got them in the wrong way. That's the Duke of York's. Here we go. Oops, there we go. Right, yeah. So you can see these guys got the black facings. There's the original sergeant figure. Really great figure, front rank again. And we got 3 Victrix guys. So we've got a firing line job there, firing line duo again. And then we've got a guy getting ready to cock his weapon, or perhaps start loading it. So that is the sergeant stand, the rear stand, rear centre. This has got the other 2 warlord guys on, and behind him another couple of Victrix. So we've got a guy loading and another guy loading, but in just slightly different positions. So yeah, very happy with those guys. Go for the rear, the sharpshooter company. So on this stand we have the other 2 Perry's figures from the box set, because you get 6 figures. I used 4 of them on the Duke of York's, and of course 2 of my front company Victrix here. And I kind of made all these guys more or less shouldered, apart from one who's sort of carrying his rifle to the side. Yeah, very happy with these guys. Okay, next up we'll go for the drummer. Again, these guys should have a bugler, but I put in a drummer, and of course I had to kind of make up my own colours. Now I noticed that the bugler has got strangely red facings, So I decided to. I tried 2 or 3 different ways of doing it. I tried giving him the the completely red wings and the red facings that looked funny. I tried giving him the red strapping on his arms, that looked funny. So in the end I settled with red facings and just the wing part, or the fluffy part of the wing red and the rest of it black. And I think it looks quite cool. And of course I just put a little bit of that red into the drum. So the drum is green with white lacing and a black face. And we've got 3 more Victrix guys in the background. Okay, and then finally the command group for these guys. Now these guys obviously have got black facing, and I really didn't know what to do about getting flags, but I decided, I actually read in there sort of like on the internet when I was doing research, that these guys just after Waterloo actually got restructured and became part of the Hoya, which were Landwehr, and then they actually became a line battalion. So in sort of basically 1816, these guys were basically part of the reorganised Hoya Field Battalion. And originally I was going to give them the Hoya flag, but I actually found out that you get a second flag on the Hoya sheet from GMB, and it's basically like a black flag. So I thought, wow, that's it, that's the one I'm going to use. So we have a Hanoverian King's colours and a black facing unit flag, and I think they came out awesome. I'm really happy with these flags. And let's give you a closer look at the command. So basically these guys are more or less in the same position, apart from the fact that they haven't got their great coats on as the flat capped guys. Front rank again. But I basically put them into the opposite positions on the stand. So this guy here is the lieutenant in my Duke of Yorks, and obviously he's a colonel or a major. Probably a colonel actually, because I have given him a proper. I added my own epaulette out of plastic putty, and I did the same with the Duke of York as well. Yeah, I think they came out great. I really do like front rank stuff. Spent a lot of money with them the last couple of months. And you can see obviously they've got the all got Shakos. And yeah, that is the command group for the I've already forgotten the name, the Grubenhagen Field Battalion. And that is it. That is the end of this of all I've been doing, my massive painting session. Obviously my plans now are to start working on French. I haven't decided exactly which units I'm going to start on first, but I have actually already got some flags in. So let's just delve into my little flag pile here. Actually, these are the flags that are left over from my Hanoverian flags. So I have basically, so here we have the Hoya Field Battalion flag, or the Landwehr flag, and another blue facings Hanoverian flag, which I can use for any sort of line infantry battalion if I decide to do another Hanoverian battalion just out of the blue. But like I say, I don't think I will at the moment. I think I'm going to start concentrating on King's German Legion. So that's those. Obviously I've got the 70th line here from 3rd Corps, and that will make up a division when I finish these guys. I think the 22nd is the division that goes with these guys, or battalion that goes with these guys. Obviously I have my my last unit of Chasseurs de Cheval, which go into the cavalry unit that they actually assigned to one of the cavalry divisions at Waterloo. Now here we have my second sort of bunch of flags, and these I got at the same time as I ordered my original incorrect Hanoverian flag. So we have the 37th and the 64th from 2nd Brigade, 8th Division, 3rd Corps. So we have the 37th and the 64th. And then finally, we have the 2nd Swiss. So I plan to do 1 battalion of these guys. I might eventually do a second, but at the moment I'm just doing 1 battalion per division. But it's nice to have the 2nd flag, so I might, perhaps it'll be my first unit that actually has 2 battalions. But yeah, and you can see this is like an older flag, the 1804 to 1814. But upon doing research, these guys actually did carry this flag at Waterloo. They didn't update their colours. So a little bit of a heart attack when it first originally came, but it was very easy to do a little bit of research and find out that they did actually use this older flag. So yeah, so 2nd Regiment Swiss going to be added to my French. So yeah, that's the end of this update. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been painting like a maniac. Might slow it down a little bit. I certainly probably won't be turning out, I suppose you could say I more or less did 3 battalions in just over 2 weeks, if you add the 2 ones that I touched up and include those as 1 battalion. So I'm very happy with my my painting productivity this last month and a half or so. But like I say, I basically did these 2 guys in just over 2 weeks. The Duke of Yorks and the Grubenhagen, and I had so many hold-ups. I reckon I probably could have finished them probably last week. I reckon, if I didn't have all the sort of incorrect things and things that I thought I ordered and didn't, and deciding on the flags and all that sort of bother. But I'm very happy with them in the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you probably in a normal sort of 2-weekish time frame for another update. So until then, this is a really long video, 42 minutes. Catch you next time. Obviously I've been watching all you guys' videos, and been getting a few more subscribers, so thank you to those guys, and catch you all later.